time by Caracas is 6 p.m. and this is CBX Business News. The business news headlines are brought to you by QMax Wealth Management, making more possible. New opportunities for MSMEs. Antigua defends its CBI program and Brazil's auto output slows. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Tuesday, July 7, 2026. I'm Rashel Moncrieffe. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, the Jamaican government has launched a new program to operationalize its MSME procurement policy aimed at helping more small businesses compete for public sector contracts. Also ahead, Antigua and Barbuda rejects the European Union's call to end its citizenship by investment program, saying the initiative remains a critical source of government revenue. And later, Brazil's vehicle production declined in June as automakers pulled back following a strong surge in output the previous month. Stay with us as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
We get the big contract. 50,000 units a month for 3 years. Great. Won't need help.
If you are a business owner that requires capital for the expansion of your business, talk to a registered broker today to find out more about listing your company on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, an efficient alternative to other financing options.
Thank God for the Jamaica Stock Exchange Junior Market.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
The local news is brought to you by Derrimon Trading, better from the start. The Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments. Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with the Jamaican government's latest push to expand economic opportunities for small businesses. The government has launched the MSME Procurement Integration Project aimed at putting Jamaica's public procurement set-asides policy into operation as it seeks to increase the number of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises securing government contracts. Making the keynote address at the launch recently, Finance Minister Favour Williams says this initiative marks one of the first major steps in transforming the policy from legislation into practical business opportunities for Jamaican entrepreneurs.
It is the beginning of a deliberate effort to ensure that Jamaica's procurement system becomes an even stronger catalyst for economic growth, entrepreneurship, and national development. For too long, many small businesses have viewed government procurement as something that's out of their reach, inaccessible, something reserved for larger, more established firms. We are changing that narrative.
Williams says the government's procurement reforms are rooted in the belief that more Jamaican businesses should have a fair chance to compete for public contracts.
The MSME Procurement Integration Project is one of the first major steps in operationalizing the set-asides framework, ensuring that legislation translates into tangible opportunities for Jamaican entrepreneurs.
That was Jamaica's Finance Minister Favour Williams. Meanwhile, the Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, says public procurement has the potential to become one of the country's most powerful drivers of growth for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. DBJ Managing Director Dr. David Lowe says government contracts offer far more than new business opportunities. They can help local companies expand, create jobs and strengthen Jamaica's economy.
For many MSMEs, the challenge isn't about capacity only. It's about access. Access to markets, access to customers, access to larger contracts. And so public procurement represents one of the largest marketplaces in our economy, helping more Jamaican businesses understand how to compete for these opportunities is much more about more than just winning contracts. It's about creating new revenue streams, supporting business expansion, strengthening local supply chains, and more importantly, keeping more economic value circulating within Jamaica. Every contract awarded to a capable local business owner has the potential to do many things: create jobs, stimulate investment, and contribute to national development through the expansion and scaling of these businesses.
Dr. Lowe says while the initiative is expanding access to public sector opportunities, businesses must also have the financial strength to deliver on those contracts.
Opportunity alone is never enough. Businesses must also be ready for these opportunities. Winning contracts requires more than a good product or service. It requires sound financial management, strong governance, operational capacity, working capital, and more importantly, access to finance.
That was DBJ Managing Director Dr. David Lowe. Dollar Financial Services is expanding its lending business through another strategic acquisition. The company has completed the acquisition of the loan portfolio of Evolve Loan Company Limited effective June 30. The portfolio carries an approximate gross value of 700 million Jamaican dollars and includes about 1,800 customer relationships, immediately increasing Dollar's loan book and customer base. The acquisition forms part of the company's strategy to accelerate growth, strengthen its lending operations, and deliver greater long-term value to shareholders. Dollar says it will provide further updates to the market as required under its continuous disclosure obligations. In financial news, Caribbean Producers Jamaica, CPJ, says it is positioning the business for stronger regional expansion and export growth, despite the significant disruption caused by Hurricane Melissa during 2025. The company says while gross revenue declined slightly to $119.4 million from $121.8 million, profit before tax increased to $11.3 million, up from $8.4 million in the previous year, reflecting improved operational performance and tighter cost management. In its 2025 annual report, CPJ says management has already begun integrating more deeply into the Seprod and Brydon's regional network, allowing the company to leverage shared logistics, procurement and distribution capabilities to expand its retail presence and accelerate exports across the Caribbean. The company also reported generating $5.26 million in positive operating cash flows through stronger working capital management, lower inventory levels, improved collections, and insurance recoveries. Looking ahead, CPJ says its priorities for 2026 include strengthening customer service, improving operational reliability, repairing hurricane-damaged infrastructure, and capitalizing on new regional growth opportunities. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities. In Tuesday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 103 stocks, of which 50 advanced, 39 declined, and 14 traded firm. Leading the winners are Productive Business Solution USD Ordinary Shares, Margaritaville Turks USD, Jetcon Corporation, and Omni Industries, while leading the losers are Knutsford Express Services, One Great Studio Company, First Rock Real Estate Investments USD, and 138 Student Living Jamaica. The main index advanced by 922.09 points to close at 359,585.22 points. The junior market index advanced by 1.14 points to close at 3,039.10 points. It's time for the Market Education feature, brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. In today's Market Education feature, we're talking about novation. Novation is the legal process of replacing one party in an existing contract with a new party, provided that all parties involved agreed to the change. When a novation takes place, the original contract is replaced with a new one, and the outgoing party is released from all rights and obligations under the agreement. Novation is commonly used in business transactions when contracts are transferred from one company or individual to another while keeping the original terms largely unchanged. That was the Market Education feature, brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next. The local news is brought to you by Derrimon Trading, better from the start. The Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, Tease the Senses, and Pulse Investments.
Me grew up and see my granny save her money under her mattress.
Exactly. Okay. Your grandmother's house never burned down?
No, how you reached that, so? That was a one-off thing.
That could have happened to anybody. That's why you must put your money in a financial institution and protect it.
What if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in.
What you mean?
JDIC is a financial safety net which provides coverage for your money in case your financial institution fails.
Explain that to me.
All right. Because of the JDIC deposit insurance scheme, once you put your money into a financial institution like a bank or building society, you can get coverage of up to a maximum of $1.2 million per deposit or per financial institution if it should fail. And for even more information, you can visit their new website at www.jdic.org, and you can follow the social media platforms for the latest information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items, such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-9235-111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett is urging member states to accelerate economic integration, warning that growing global uncertainty makes a stronger single Caribbean market more important than ever. Speaking at the 51st regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government in St. Lucia, Barnett says leaders will focus on strengthening the CARICOM single market and economy as they consider measures to deepen regional trade and economic cooperation.
53 years ago, a global fuel crisis, the Cold War, and limited markets for regional economies seeking to emerge from colonial dependence demanded that collective action be employed towards the greater good. Then, as now, external factors and influences put at risk the vision of regional integration. However, the expected benefits to our economies and wider societies at that time, as now, far outweigh the risks. As we gather here in St. Lucia for the 51st regular meeting of the conference, heads will focus on critical issues and decisions that must be taken to strengthen our regional integration process. This will be set against the backdrop of things we have achieved and the challenges of the past several years in order to guide the way ahead.
The CARICOM Secretary General says priority reforms include strengthening regional capital markets, modernizing payment and settlement systems, and expanding the movement of people. She says member states must now turn regional decisions into national action through legislation and policy reforms.
But while we can acknowledge positively the work we do together as a region, the challenges we face call us to redouble our efforts. We have to do what is necessary to implement key, outstanding aspects of the CSME, such as capital market institutions, payments and settlement systems, and expanding movement of persons. This requires greater focus and action, not only at the regional level in the ministerial councils of the community, but also at the national level to ensure necessary consultations, parliamentary approvals, and any other actions necessary to ensure national implementation of regional decisions.
That was CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett. Outgoing CARICOM Chairman Dr. Terence Drew says regional cooperation has become a major driver of the Caribbean's economic development, helping member states deliver essential services while strengthening their global influence. The St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister says the community's impact extends well beyond annual summits through institutions supporting public health, education, justice, and security.
These initiatives may not always make the headlines, but together they improve the quality of life of our people. That is, after all, why CARICOM exists. And though CARICOM may not be perfect, sometimes the achievements and what this organization does is so routine that sometimes they are taken for granted. As I conclude this chairmanship, I've come to appreciate even more deeply that CARICOM is far greater than the meetings of the heads of government. What is often unseen is a remarkable network of regional institutions quietly serving our people every single day.
Drew says a united Caribbean also carries greater influence internationally, pointing to Trinidad and Tobago's election to the United Nations Security Council as an example of the region's collective strength on the global stage.
Very few of our member states, acting alone, could have established institutions of this quality and reach. But together, we have. This is the strength of CARICOM. Allow me, therefore, to offer another example. Recently, our sister nation, Trinidad and Tobago, was elected to the United Nations Security Council. During that campaign, I remained in close communication with Trinidad and Tobago's permanent representative to the United Nations. One fact became abundantly clear during that campaign. Although Trinidad and Tobago was the candidate, it entered that election carrying the united and public support of the Caribbean community. That support mattered.
That was outgoing CARICOM Chair and Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew. Antigua and Barbuda is rejecting the European Union's call to phase out its Citizenship by Investment CBI program by June 2028, saying the initiative remains a critical source of government revenue. Prime Minister Gaston Brown says the government cannot support ending one of its largest sources of non-tax income without a viable replacement. Since 2013, the program has generated more than 1.4 billion EC dollars, while this year's budget projects about $157 million in CBI revenue. It has also funded infrastructure, healthcare, education, and debt reduction, warning that a forced phase-out would leave a significant hole in public finances. While the European Union has raised security and governance concerns over citizenship programs, Antigua says it will continue strengthening due diligence while engaging European officials. And in financial news, Trinidad-based LJ Williams Limited reported a sharp drop in earnings as weaker retail sales and challenging market conditions continued to pressure results. For the year ended March 31, 2026, operating profit fell to 2.8 million Trinidad and Tobago dollars from 7.1 million a year earlier. Sales declined 8% to 147.7 million, while the group posted a net loss of $2.3 million. Chairman Lawford Dupree says weaker sales at the home store subsidiary, aggressive price promotions, and a sluggish construction market weighed on profitability. Looking ahead, the company expects profitability to improve in the 2027 financial year, supported by store rationalization in Trinidad, new product offerings, and continued strong sales growth from its Guyana operations. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 24 securities, of which 8 advanced, 4 declined, and 12 traded firm. Today's winners are NCB Financial Group, Ansa McCall, JMMB Group, and Angostura Holdings, while leading the losers are Unilever Caribbean, National Enterprises, Massey Holdings, Republic Financial Holdings. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The All TNT Index advanced by 5.88 points to close at 1,444.17. The Composite Index also advanced but by 12.56 points to close at 997.47. The Cross-Listed Index gained 2.81 points to close at 72.67, while the SME Index remained at 79.28. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next.
Mikey, is what sweet you saw?
Yeah, dear babes. Where's the catty? We are going party tonight.
Party? You secure your future yet? Careless.
Did you know that over time the stock market has provided a reliably high return on investments? Be sure to contact a licensed stockbroker for more information on this exciting investment opportunity.
Taking care of business, Mikey?
Yeah, Catty. I'm securing my future. Want to come look over my stock portfolio?
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
Welcome back. In international news, confidence in the U.S. economy improved in July, with Americans expressing greater optimism about both the economic outlook and their personal finances. The Real Clear Markets TIPP Economic Optimism Index rose to 45.5 in July from 42.5 in June, exceeding market expectations. The improvement reflected stronger sentiment across all three components of the survey. The 6-month economic outlook posted the largest gain, while confidence in personal financial prospects rose above the neutral 50-point mark, making it the strongest performing component. Confidence in federal economic policies also improved, although it remained below the neutral threshold, indicating Americans continue to hold cautious views about the broader economy. Meanwhile, business activity in Canada continued to expand, although at a slower pace. Canada's business activity moderated in June as the Ivy Purchasing Managers Index fell below market expectations. The index declined to 56.2 from 58.2 in May, ending a 3-month run of improvement. Despite the slowdown, the reading remained well above the 50-point threshold, indicating continued expansion in business activity. The employment index eased slightly to 53.6 from 54.3, but remained above the 50 threshold, pointing to continued job creation. The prices index fell to 73.7 from 78, suggesting inflationary pressures moderated but remained elevated. The supplier deliveries index also edged down to 44.3 from 44.7, remaining relatively stable around the 44 mark since April. Meanwhile, inventories returned to expansion territory, while supplier delivery times were little changed. And in Latin America, Brazil's vehicle production declined in June, following strong gains recorded the previous month. Output fell 3% to 246,000 units as manufacturers adjusted production after dealerships received a surge in deliveries under the government's vehicle discount program. The decrease was mainly driven by reduced inventories of light vehicles at manufacturers after approximately 79,000 vehicles were delivered to dealerships under a government discount program introduced through a new provisional measure. Production of light vehicles fell sharply to 189,200 units, representing a 17% decline from the previous month. Passenger car production decreased by 6.5%, while bus output dropped by 20.8%. However, the decline was partly offset by stronger production of other vehicle categories, with light commercial vehicle output rising 15.1% and truck production increasing 3.9%. And that's it for the international segment of the newscast. The news recap is coming up on the other side of the break.
This project marks the celebration of our 30th Hall of Fame and aims to highlight the achievements, challenges, and invaluable lessons of those who have shaped and are shaping the future of our economy. Our aim is to celebrate the voices and stories of 30 remarkable leaders in Jamaica's private sector. Join us as we explore these narratives of resilience, leadership, and vision.
And now to recap our top stories. In the local news, government launches program to operationalize MSME procurement policy. Regionally, Antigua rejects EU's call to end the citizenship by investment program. And internationally, Brazil vehicle production declines in June after May surge. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rashel Moncrieffe. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.